All right, hey, what's going on, Freedomers? Missioners. Find your purpose using astrology, mission-based astrology. It's going to be a free training, not too in depth, but we're going to get into the basics. So, the agenda of this free training is the purpose, past life, wealth, obsession, passion, obsession over passion, money, personal income, career, where I get my charts from, multiple examples. Really one example, bonus Chiron. North node, south node, Jupiter, 9th house, 10th house, Saturn, 11th house, second house. These are the aspects we're going to look at. The purpose formula by me, ascending chart ruler. North node is the position of the moon, and the south node. North node purpose, where you are supposed to be going in your life. North node represents our karmic paths and lessons we came here to learn, or the language we are learning to speak. The North node is the uncharted territory. It's your soul's purpose forward. South node is your comfort zone. The South Node reveals the challenges, gifts we bring in from previous lifetimes. The South Node indicates what we are comfortable with, and lessons we previously learned brought into the incarnation to help overcome challenges we are faced in this life. The ruling planets of signs occupied by the South Node are an indicator of what we did to learn the lesson. And I would also state that that the South Node is something that you you mentor in. So in other words, the South Node for me is Taurus in Capricorn. So right now I'm a social media so I run a social media agency and I help people make more money. So Taurus is your personal income, so I help people make more money and I help them raise their status, Capricorn, because social media is all about status. We'll get a little bit more in depth with that in a couple slides, the mentoring part. Jupiter rules the higher learning, bestows upon us the yen for exploring ideas, both intellectually, spiritually. Intellectually speaking, Jupiter assists us with formulating our ideology. While our success, accomplishments, prosperity are all within the Jupiter's realm, the largest can at times deteriorate us into laziness, sloth, and Jupiter at its worst is associated with weight gain. It is our fatherly mentor, a generous mentor. Whether the sign is whatever the sign is, you may get the benefits of this sign where Jupiter is at that time. So for me, being a life path 3, a lot of my mentors not even just being a life path, but my Jupiter is in Sag in the 5th house. So a lot of Sages come into my life. If not a couple of Sages came into my life. The reason why a couple into my life to mentor me and showed me that I needed to monetize my talents, 5th house. So the reason why I'm doing this astrology as a monetization, out of monetization, is because of a Sagittarius, and she told me to monetize my gifts in astrology, my talents, which is 5th house. What I do in my spare time, my free time, my talents, which is ruled by Leo again. Jupiter also indicates inner healing abilities, lucky factor. If well aspected, it may well be aspected well. It can be if aspected well, it can be a indicator that you're a natural born leader. Jupiter shows you how you expand. So one of the ways I expand is by changing my philosophy and doing Leo-like things like shining through, being the leader, going out for the hunt, I expand using my talents, my gifts and abilities, my natural born gifts and abilities being in the 5th house. And the more I delve into my gifts, talents, and abilities, I make more money, being that my 2nd house is in Virgo. or all my Pisces being in that was called Venus, which is Pisces co-rules Jupiter. Saturn, the father of discipline, which is ruled by Capricorn. Saturn's rules your career, structure, laws, restriction, discipline, responsibility, obligations, and ambition. 10th house is the long-term career of a person. The Earth elements is ruled by is usually called the work houses, because Taurus is money, Virgo is jobs, and 10th house is long-term career. Another thing that you can examine for the 10th house is whether you will become a mentor to other people and guided with influence. Like I said earlier before, your South Node in this sense for me is in Capricorn in the 10th house ruled by Taurus. So wherever Saturn is or your 10th house, you can become a mentor to those people. And mine's in Pisces in the 8th house. I have Saturn and Pisces in the 8th house. So usually I'm going to become a spiritual mentor to people. And I do that already all of the time. People come to me especially with Pisces being a counselor, people come to me for wisdom. People come to me for guidance. The number one thing I got to become better at is people come to me to be a listening ear. It does also signify legacy and also what you'll leave behind, how important it will be for your followers, because this pattern continues as a fractal. You can even catch some echoes of how your legacy will continue towards the souls of which your successors will be mentors. So in short, what that means is wherever your 10th house is or Saturn is in your chart, look at the people around you. What do they leave? What do they say about you, especially after you don't even speak anymore? What is the legacy of that you leave with them? So a lot of the times, for the good, people say, yo, he told me about the law of attraction. He told me about this, that, and the third, about the occult, spirituality, and it leaves an indent on them where they're practicing it now, or they recognize a sign, or they're looking at numbers and they're looking at numerology, etc., etc. I've done this over and over and over again, where people in my life, because they speak to me, especially the more often you speak to me, probably more than likely you're going to start looking at numbers and all that other stuff. Example, a recent lady came into my life in the fourth. She came to me in this past Scorpio retrograde, back into my life, and she has her brother's number. She's a devoted Christian, and she says her brother's favorite number was 444, and we often experienced 444 while we were on the phone. Like, she recognized it, so she's probably, and over and over and over, so it's probably going to be indented if she speaks to me in her mind about what that number means, etc., etc. Like, I even told her to say all is well, because that's one of the affirmations that come with 444. The 11th house is the condition of personal assets through business and career found within the houses and aspects, and sign, etc., etc. So Mars 8th house. Mars rules your sexual drive, will push you push your existence. Anything that sticks, cuts, and penetrates is ruled by Mars. Meaning your private part is ruled by Mars. Mars will push you out of bed to get out in the morning and drive your nature, your active energy. They are soldiers, pioneers, lovers, captains. Like, for instance, I had this Taurus that I met. He's a Taurus sun in the first house, and his username is Captain. And then he says the rest of something about credit, Captain, whatever he says about credit, Captain Credit or something like that. That's because his Aries he's in the first house, so Aries like to be the captain, the pioneer. What else? The condition of the 8th house for one's personal assets is accumulated through partnership or marriage. Second house is the rules of, it's also called the house of values, possessions, money, material things. The natives own gain and expenditures. It signifies the way someone draws money towards them or repels it, while also the way he chooses to spend them. Um, it values ownership. It values ownership and being expressed for as long as his values is his value system. Your second house and your Venus show you how you make money. The second house is your personal income. Because I say Venus because Venus is also ruled by Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. You're sending a rising sign, rule of your chart. Rule of your chart, the lighthouse of your personality, because your houses are the lighthouses of your personality. They're what you're here to come here to either show or be as you live this life. This is a person who this is the person you are to the world. The ascendant sign are the natural defenses, how you cope with the day-to-day issues, the energies that you condition, and the ascendant are most overt and obvious to others. Your sign, your rising sign is the physical signs of your characteristics, the doorway to your soul. Your soul usually is your fourth house to some extent. So my purpose formula is, people ask 4 questions in this life mainly. They ask who you are, what makes you sun sign, what makes you fulfilled, moon sign emotionally, who are you to the world, rising sign, and what's your purpose, north node. Your purpose formula is used by, I use the affirmations to make a sentence or make sense. Aries is I am, as you see here, the different affirmations. The one on the right I chose, I put up there because the Scorpio is I desire. On the right, on the left hand side, you see that Scorpio is I lust, and you could use that, but I don't really like that. And but I like I desire. Because lust, it depends on how you use it. But I'm an Aries Taurus cusp because I'm 0 degrees Taurus. With my formula, so that would be I am and I have in my sun. Moon is in Capricorn, which is I utilize or I use. Rising is Leo, so I will, and North Node I desire. So I have, or I am using my willpower to get what I desire, or I have I use what I have, because you have to make it make sense. I have what I use. Wait, let me see if that makes sense. Yeah, I use what I have. Cause it's not sun, but we're just making it make sense in this sense. Because the moon is there. So it doesn't matter where the words switch up. It's just that you're using what it means. I use what I have I use what I have with my willpower to get what I desire. And I desire is Scorpio. So in that sense, usually even though it's my south node, I have to use what I have, which is what I'm doing now, through my own willpower, meaning through my doubts, my fears, my pain, whatever's going on in my life. I have to will myself to get to what I desire. And that's how that works out for me. And I am using my willpower to get what I desire. So usually, if I'm not using material things or possessions or whatever. It's just sheer will that gets me where I want to be, what I desire. It's just sheer willpower. If you want to, if this is going to be in a funnel, you're going to see this as you after you put in your name and email. So to book a session, you can go to bit.ly/astrology, form in all caps, or on the left hand side, there's going to be a the session for the booking. Also on the right, or the right button, there should be a book, a class that's going to be deeper than this, about purpose. So example is, I'm going to use me. I'm not going to go too deep because I don't want to make this too long. It's already 15 minutes in. Venus and Pisces. I'm a Venus and Pisces in the ninth house. I can make money using being a spiritual teacher, or being or traveling, because I make money. As soon as I traveled, as soon as I left my parents' house, I made more money than I ever made. Some careers for the Pisces is pastor or preacher, like I'm doing, psychic, which I do some of, production, video, production editor, film motion graphics designer, 3D artist, wedding photographer, behavioral psychiatrist, which is somewhat I'll look into, but not professionally, but just studying behavior, clinical counselor, which is somewhat what I do, and mental health technician, which is somewhat of what I do naturally. Sagittarius, career for Sagittarius is architect, academic, scholar, which is what I am, teacher, public relations manager. If I had a job, that's what I would be doing. Administration, travel agent, sports coach, personal trainer. Jobs for examples for Scorpio, because I have during Scorpio, marketing analyst. That's what I chose to do for a living, marketing. Psychiatrist, surgeon, engineer, political figure, investigator. Now my 10th house is in Aries, so I will version jobs that have plenty of activities, diversity, and competitiveness. Entrepreneurship. Careers as in monotonous, requires monotonous routine, are definitely not for you. So in other words, things that are tedious, in the sense of saying it's the same routine over and over and over every day. Now, of course, everything has routine, but my routine is leading me to freedom, not the routine that's just leading me to getting a paycheck every week. Excuse me. So mere vocation might be sports, management, military, entrepreneurship, which is what I do, competitive racing, construction, and any type of activities dealing with the mental or machinery. Machinery for me would be a laptop and a cell phone. Metals would be a laptop and a cell phone. People with the 10,000 Aries should avoid being impulsive and impatient, jumping into action without thinking through things, and they should be more careful at being too stubborn in everything that they pursue. This will block their desire. And what that means is, that was actually a mistake I made this year, where I was too stubborn about the one thing that's making me money. And that's why I'm in the Sagittarius things. I'm expanding what I want to do, because I was too stubborn about only making money with my agency. Jupiter and Sagittarius. I spoke briefly about this before, but you advance life through growing through wisdom, and sharing, and most likely sharing wisdom. Excels in things that we'll call visionary thinking, which is what I'm doing now. Often you have a sense of all is well, no matter what, which is very true. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it leaves me with a high sense of optimism. In the fifth, this is also in the fifth house, so most likely you will have a career passing down knowledge to others and going under, thinking everything is questionable at a young age, which is very true. The more I read, the more I questioned. The desire to travel comes from a placement like I'm fighting my desire to travel right now because I gotta get stuff done. A love for books and knowledge. I just went to the library a week ago and I got like 10 books on top of the books that I haven't read in my own library. Natural fearlessness comes with expansion and you will be ahead of the crowd. So that's the fifth house. So whatever my talents and abilities are, uh, I had to put energy into that. Rising in Leo, for me, I have a beard, which is more Leo-like hair. I'm debating myself right now whether I want to cut my hair or not. Not my beard, but my hair. I don't plan to cut my beard for probably another 10, 20, 15 years. Um, uh, Healthy, natural born leader turns talents into profit is what I actually do for a living. Is how people turn their profits, their talents into profits. I do attract attention. I have a personal magnetism that stands out when I really want to do that. Whether it be charisma, appearance, and they never fail to make an impression. Leo ascendants are very self-aware and conscious of the effect on others, which is very true. I'm always thinking about the impact I have on others, unless I don't really give a fuck. Um, Leo can have temper tantrums, uh, jumping to conclusion, and self-indulgence. That's what I'd be trying to have more. That's why my second house is in Virgo, so I can manage that self-control. I'm telling myself that a lot lately. Uh, Leo rising tends to overestimate themselves a bit. They naturally are enthusiastic about new projects, and they make excellent promoters and spokespersons. Uh, Leo ascendant is very uh, demonstrative, and they like drama and grand gestures. Unfortunately, it brings a little excitement to my life. They may be caught up in exaggeration without realizing it, and they will do anything to get admiration. The default of that is that you got to become a minimalist on that, but also that comes with the setting the 48 laws of power of uh, being a being a person in Law 40, where he said being a person who does things to get attention and love and indiscriminate giver. You have to be when you have a rising in Leo, you have to be careful not to be an indiscriminate giver, because meaning a person who gives no matter what situation, who, what, where, and why, no proper discernment, they just give to give. And it's really because they want to be loved and they want to be admired. And it's not often a good thing because it people can really take advantage of you. Gemini in the 11th house. Assets is the thing that puts money in your pocket. Gemini is the salesman of the zodiac, and I sell all day. That's what I do. So to put money in my pocket, and this is the thing that I get from my business is salesmanship. The 11th house is also the type of friend you are. People know me for two things. They know me for astrology, and they also know me for networking, business, or my agency, which is like two different people, but really the same thing all in one. Such a fight sometimes. For your reputation, people know you for two things because Gemini is double-minded, two people. Mars and Leo in the first house and Pisces in the eighth house. So driven to be a pioneer, which I really am. Dominating personality, bunch of creativity in sports and experience warlike moments. Believe me, that's a real thing. So I almost gotta want to prepare myself for war in many regards, to fight, etc., etc. I've been many times when people just challenge me wanting to fight for whatever reason, or I've been put in situations where I have to fight randomly, and I don't bother anybody. Um, uh, I will tirelessly dedicate. He will tirelessly. I will tirelessly dedicate my energy to confronting any possible difficulties and problems successfully, enjoying the conquest of the desired goal, which is extremely true. In the eighth house, I inherit spiritual knowledge from my partnership. This is really true in my life. Um, I either inherit new talents, new gifts, new abilities. I learn more about myself. I inherit and I learn more about uh my gifts, talents, abilities, or I shine more or I deflate more, whichever the one. Um, or I inherit deep spiritual abilities and knowledge and wisdom from my relationships. Because Scorpio rules partnership, also rules with Scorpio, because Libra is the beginning of we mindset. So partnership and relationship. Where I get my charts from is astroseek.com. I think that's the most accurate chart I've seen online. Chiron in the second, bonus is Chiron. Reason why Chiron is important is because it brings you the most pain. It's the weakness, it's the deep weakness that spreads in your life. Like this took me 2 days to do. It's one of my weaknesses because I'd rather somebody else do it, but I know I have to do it. And my Chiron's in the Virgo in the second house. So how to heal Chiron is the opposite sign. So it's Pisces in the second house. So how to heal Virgo in the second house is check your habits, Virgo, beliefs, Pisces, and the compound effect, meaning you have a Virgo in the second house. Chiron in Virgo means you have an issue doing things on a daily basis, the same thing routinely every single day. You have to strongly believe in the compound effect, meaning everything adds up, negatively and positively. You have to learn to take things like I had a huge kind of anxiety attack yesterday because I wasn't finishing these slides, and I did most of it, and I was so proud of myself a little low key today, where I was I got most of it done, and when I finished it today, I was kind of proud of myself. So that's the example of Chiron and Virgo. You don't have to do the whole thing today. I was pushing myself I had to finish it. I had to finish it today. I had to finish it today, and I did finish it today. Not the day of, which was yesterday, but today. And most of it was done, which I'm proud of myself for. Do your best not to strive for perfection, which imperfection in this case would be the fact that I needed it to be done yesterday. And also learn to prioritize, and learn what's a priority in your life. And focus on creating habits around your priorities. Hard work is something that hard work is going after something that is hard, that may even seem impossible, but not always but there is a possibility. Learn a difference learn that nothing will come easy for you. You have to put in the fucking work, hours and hours of work. Working hard is putting in long hours of time, of investment with time or money. Sometimes you gotta abandon hard work. And what that means is, meaning going for things that's not practical and is not getting you anywhere a year from now. But you're feeling the pressure of the hard work. Working hard is you're putting on a long hours of investment, and you're seeing the payoff. Sometimes hard work has no payoff. You know what I'm saying? And you really need to understand that. Working hard has a payoff. Hard work doesn't always have a payoff. So that's the end of this free training. But like I said before, go to bit.ly/astrology form. I would make this longer, but I don't want to make it. I know the attention span is short. I want to make it as 30 minutes. To get the free training. To get this free notes, to book your form, to book your session. Peace. Also, to add to that, what does all of this mean? That means that you have to look at your north node, your south node, your Jupiter. You have to look at your Saturn. You have to look at your second house, how you make money, because your purpose, because you want to make money. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at your 8th house, which is what you get in relationships, partnership, because Taurus is ruled by Venus, Libra, and Taurus. So partnership might be essential because most wealthy people are married. The purpose formula, you want to calculate that in your chart and your ascendant. How do you show up in the world? Because it's very important to know how you show up. I show up as a Leo. I show up as a lion. So when I meet Aquarius energy, like I'm doing social media, I had to shine through using my social media. You know what I'm saying? So using sales in Gemini, in the 11th house. So that's what I gain in business. So you have to look at these things in your chart to see what your purpose is, your north node, your south node, and all these aspects here. Peace.